I wish for one thing. Results.
What's up everybody, and welcome to the second episode of those masterclass. Today is a very exciting course because we're gonna review probably my favorite, most enjoyable skill you'll be able to master with Caustic, which is, as surprisingly as it can be for a defensive legend, is offense. Yes, I mean right by talking about Caustic offense abilities, which are phenomenal in this game. So we're gonna divide this course into two types of offense, which should basically cover any type of situation you will encounter in this game. Starting with the indoor offense, which is the most common and natural offense you will be able to drive with Caustic. And in the second time, the outdoor offense, which is a little bit more challenging and trickery to truly master. So basically, indoor fight can be resumed as you being outside the building, pushing a squad who's inside and trying to defend it, whether it is for ring rotation purposes or end ring advantage, or maybe they just finish a fight and they're trying to recover. So before we continue, I really encourage you to watch, if not already, my first masterclass concerning defense, as I want you to conceive pushing a building basically in the same process of thoughts as if you were defending it. At first, you need to determine as quickly as possible the enemy force who are present in the building. To avoid any surprise, always assume you're gonna fight a full squad. And while pushing the building, try to identify as quickly as possible the type of legend you're gonna fight. Whether by looking at the type of defenses they have set up, or the abilities they are throwing at you, for example, a Blood and Scan, a Gibby Ult, or a Bangalore Smoke, for example. Knowing this important piece of information will allow you to decide how you're gonna run the offense and anticipate the type of reaction the team inside might throw at you. And also avoid, for example, throwing your gas grenade into a Watson ult and end up in tears. So we'll see probably in another course how to fight very specific type of defensive legends. But in a general sense of way, you have two very important factors with Caustic to be able to conduct a successful offense. First is the effect of surprise, and second is the speed. The second, you're gonna place a gas trap outside the building, rather to block a door or give you some cover. The enemy squad inside is gonna guess that you are obviously running a Caustic, if they didn't spot you already from a window. That's why it's quite important when you do a push to first try to stay undercover as long as possible, not let them know what legend you are running, and once you start attacking, being as swift as possible. If you have the chance to run with teammates who have scanning abilities like Seer or Blood Hunt, you can easily run a more straightforward push by simply knowing exactly where the enemy squads are gonna be located in the building and throw your ultimate at the most vulnerable position you have determined. If you're pushing a building with multiple floors, it's also greatly advised to try to reach first and control the top floors, and then make your way down floor by floor. In that case, having teammates with mobility abilities like an Octane Jump Pad or an Horizon Gravity Lift would be a great asset in order to conduct the swiftest and quickest attack as possible. It is important for mainly two reasons. First is the longest the fight is gonna take, which means for you to go inside the building and get rid of the squad you're pushing, the longest you're gonna be outside the building, which gonna increase the chances of another squad hearing the fight and coming at the third party and literally picking you up, since you're still in transition in between the building you're pushing and outside, and end up being sandwiched by the team you're attacking and the team outside coming at the third party. And in that type of situation, it's actually better to simply cancel your attack, even if you already wasted your ultimate, and to regroup, go back to the building where you departed from, heal up, and then decide what your next move is gonna be. Also keep in mind when you're about to knock at someone else's door, especially when you're playing with randoms, you need to be as much as possible in sync with your teammate when driving the push. Of course, most of the action is going to be done by you, especially inside, but it's very important that your teammate know that you are pushing a building and give you the backup necessary. I am not saying that it's totally impossible for a solo Caustic to squad wipe a full squad inside a building, but nowadays, following the multiple nerfs that Caustic received, and also the attention he got during the competition, most of the squad, especially smart squads, know more and more how to adapt themselves fighting a Caustic. Therefore, it's quite important to have your teammate with you as a show of force and to really push the squad as staying inside the building you're gonna attack as much as possible. You don't want them to decide to push you outside where you'll probably be the most vulnerable. Therefore, even if you've been rolling with your teammates for a while and be successful on multiple fights, keep always an eye on their position, whether through the minimap or by direct line of sight, in order to, when you're gonna drive your push, you are sure that they are with you. Especially big buildings with multiple entrances, which are gonna be quite hard to control. If you happen to realize that they are not with you, like in this precise example, you can simply decide, depending on the building and the team you're facing, to back off, regroup with your team, and see if they're willing to join you on the push or not. In that case, it's very important for you not to waste your ult. The moment you're gonna use your ultimate is and must be, at 99% of the case, the moment when you decide to fully commit into the attack. Usually when you're gonna push a squad inside a building, the odds of winning should be against you, because they are the one inside the building with already some defensive measure set up, and therefore, in order to rebalance the odds or push them in your favors, having ultimate or, for example, some arc stars also on your side, throwing through the window, are very important and very useful in order to weaken those defenses. You can also manage to throw gas through the windows, but they will be most likely shut down or not being able to even have any effects. And it will also work in your disadvantage, as you're basically telling the squad you're pushing that a Caustic is outside pushing their building. So once you are fully committed into the fight, which is basically the moment you throw your ultimate and you are inside the building and starting to really engage with the defensive team, you need to conceive this offense as a reverse defense mechanism. When you're outside about to push a building, you need to imagine that, yes, there are enemies inside, obviously, and you're gonna have to shoot at them. But the most important priority is for you to take over the building. And you're gonna successfully achieve that by using your abilities. Whether it's putting gas traps or throwing your ult, you want to kick them out of the building. This should be your number one priority. If in the process you're able to kill them and destroy them, because most of the time, of course, they're not gonna leave without giving any opposition, then you should consider that as a bonus. But this is really the mindset you need to have when you're pushing a building. It doesn't matter if you don't kill them and they leave the building. If you manage to get the building under your control, this is already a win. The advantage by doing so is once you start to take over the building, you're basically setting up a defense against potential third parties. This is why being able to finish the offensive and take the building as quick as possible is detrimental. The longer the fight is gonna last, the weaker basically your offensive abilities are gonna be, and the higher chance for you to be third party are gonna increase, obviously. Your ultimate is not lasting forever, so you basically have 20 to 25 seconds to utilize it at its best, and also you only have 3 active traps that you can throw at one time, and waiting 15 to 20 seconds for another trap to be available is gonna really reduce your toxicity inside the building and make basically your traps becoming less and less relevant into the push. A good training exercise I recommend is to play Caustic on arenas. This will give you a good training of utilizing a limited amount of traps during a fight and make you able to instinctively pick them up and repositionate them in the middle of a fight. This will be particularly useful when you're fighting into larger buildings and you need to be as fast and efficient as possible while handling an enemy squad inside. Once you have started to assimilate those mechanics as second nature, you can start to become more aggressive and creative also in the strategies of your attacks. When you start to play with a long-time teammate and who knows how to play with a Caustic, because it takes a little bit of practice to do that, then Caustic can become a real disruptor for the enemy squad. I often use the metaphor of Caustic kicking into an ant nest, where Caustic, while fighting a squad who is confined into a close quarters, is gonna completely throw the enemy team off balance, and rather is gonna take care of the entire squad trapped in the gas by himself, or his teammates are just gonna pick them one by one while they are trying to escape the building. In any case, it's very important for you to have a good comm and strategy plan with your teammates on how you're gonna push this building, letting them know in advance which door are gonna be blocked, where you're gonna concentrate your gas attack, and therefore being able to have a good team play and teamwork on every of your offenses.
It requires a little bit of finesse, you know, because if I push too hard, I will get knocked and they can escape. And if you push too hard, then you get knocked, and you know. So we had both to push on like a little bit, slowly to suffocate them, and after that it's just easy.
So, in a nutshell, offense indoor with Caustic. Observe and assess when you're gonna push a building. Make sure to know what are the legends and how many are there to anticipate their reaction. Swift and lethal, you want to get rid of this squad and take over the building as quickly as possible without any casualties. Overcommit or isolation, remember your teams will hardly be able to follow you in the gas, and if they're facing another Caustic, they will also take damages. Good comms and teamwork, make sure you prepare your offense in advance, and if you're playing with random, keep a close eye on them. And to finish this first part on Caustic offense, a great gameplay showing how disruptive you can be as a Caustic.
Here. I'm pushing from the left building, so be careful. I'm healing. I'm going back on the other side. Pushing back on the other side of it. Push back with me on the other side. Here, Mirage is coming. I need help. Nice. Go in. Top 10 inside. PK. He's on the gas. Alone on the corner left. He's going out. He's out. I'm gonna die. No! What? It's okay.
So unfortunately I didn't get out alive of this fight, but the pleasure of being able to be in total control of a fight is something I wish to every Caustic out there. Alright, so that's a wrap for this first part of the offense. I'll be seeing you very soon in the next episode where we're gonna see the outdoor offense. If you have any question, let me know in the comments below, and like this video and sub if you're new to this channel. I'll be seeing you very soon.
My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.